to the $100 MBA Show, the business podcast that's all about taking you and your business where it needs to be with our daily 10-minute business lessons for the real world. I'm your host, your coach, your teacher, Omar Zenhom. I'm also the co-founder of the $100 MBA, a complete business training and community online. You can check out our free guides and our free course over at 100mba.net. In today's episode, you will learn how to reprimand an employee. Our employees, our teammates, are the fabric of our business. And of course, we value them, but sometimes an employee will do something that's just not part of your culture, or they've done something that's outside of your policies or procedures. What do you do? How do you handle this situation? And you have to handle it, because like anything in life, there are rules and there are the real rules, which means what you can get away with. So today's topic is really important. Even if you're working alone, you're going to be working with other people at some point, even if that's at a freelance basis. So let's take a deep dive in this important topic. Let's get down to business. Today's episode of the $100 MBA Show is sponsored by Sidekick by HubSpot. Sidekick provides seamless, integrated email tools for Gmail, Apple Mail, and Outlook. It's like getting a major upgrade to your existing email. With Sidekick, you can receive live notifications when somebody opens and clicks on your emails, so you have powerful contact insights right in your inbox. Go to getSidekick.com/MBA to get your first month of Sidekick for free. That's getSidekick.com/MBA. Part of running a successful business is having people skills. And even the most well-known people in business, like Steve Jobs, for example, even when they don't have the best people skills, they have people on their team to take care of that because they know it's so important. And this is what I love about business. Business is all about human nature. It's all about dealing with the people inside your team as well as outside your team, which are your audience, your clients. But in today's lesson, I want to explore what to do when an employee, somebody on your team, does something that is not according to your culture, not according to your rules and regulations or your procedures. How do you reprimand this person? How do you address this issue? Now, I think reprimand is a strong word. I know a lot of people think of like disciplining somebody when you hear reprimand. But what I really mean is, how do you address this issue? You can't just let it slide. You can't just let it go. You have to address it so everybody's on the same page. If you don't address it, that's the worst thing you could do, where somebody on your team does something that's not cool, that is not a part of your culture, is not a part of the rules and regulations of your business, and you just don't do anything. By not doing anything, you're essentially saying it's okay, you can do that, because you did it and nothing happened. Now, this is something that's ingrained in us as human beings. You can go back in your days in school. If a teacher said there's no talking in class, and then the students talk in class and nothing happens, you know that that rule is not real. You can talk in class. Now, that's an oversimplification, but it gives you an idea of what I'm talking about. So the worst thing you could do is do nothing when an employee does something that is not according to the rules and regulations or the procedures of what you do at your company. So let me give you an example. Some companies are okay with using colorful language, and some companies are not. They just feel like that's not part of their culture. But I'm not talking about around the office, but let's say, for example, your social media manager is using colorful language in their tweets or their Facebook posts. Now, again, they're representing your company. Now, if you see it and let it slide, then the rule is we're cool with it, no problem. But what do you do when you just need to address that, hey, we're not cool with that, you can't do that? So in this situation, or in any situation where you have to address an issue, you have to first look at yourself. You have to realize that this didn't happen by accident. There's a good chance the reason why they did this is because they didn't know any better. Maybe your onboarding training is not where it should be. Maybe you need to make sure this is more clear when your new employees come into your company. It could be an innocent mistake. It could be them trying to do something a little different. They're trying to extend themselves. They're actually trying to impress you. So not every time an employee does something that is not according to your rules is like they're stepping out of line. Sometimes they're really genuinely trying to do a good job. So step one is you need to address the issue ASAP, as soon as possible, before it happens again. So you or their direct manager needs to sit and speak to this person directly. Now, this can be done over email or Skype or one-on-one, face-to-face. Your tone doesn't need to be negative or mean or anything like that. It could be the same tone as saying good morning. And you could say the words you need to say without sounding like a meanie. You could just simply say, hey, Jason, here in our company, we do not use foul language or colorful language in our social media or anything we say in public. This is just something we don't do. It's not part of our culture. I noticed that you did this in this tweet or in this Facebook post. And maybe this wasn't clear to you when you were trained as a new employee. But from here on in, please make sure you do not do this again. I would ask you to please delete that post. At that point, just stop talking. Let them reply and make sure that they understand. Now, they'll probably try to defend themselves. Hey, I'm really sorry. I didn't know that. I was just trying to do something creative. At that point, just make sure that it's clear. I just want to make sure it's clear that this is not cool. We don't do this here. At this point, the employee understands this is serious. You do not want this line to be crossed again. And then you want to sandwich it at the end by saying, hey, we really appreciate your work here. And thank you for taking the time to have this conversation with me and being so understanding. And letting them know, listen, I understand it's hard to sit down and be reprimanded. So thanks for understanding this is what we have to do, and you took it like a champ, right? That's exactly the tone you want to have. Now you might be asking, so what if they do it again? If it happens again, you need to really have a stronger tone the next time you have this conversation. And at the end of that conversation, you need to make sure that you tell them what the consequence is if it happens a third time. Listen, we had this talk 2 weeks ago, and I told you that this is not cool and we can't do this here at this company. If this happens again, unfortunately, I'm going to have to let you go. Or unfortunately, I'm going to have to put you on probation. Or I'm going to have to remove this task from you and give you another task. Whatever it is, you got to let them know what happens. What's the consequence? Because obviously you didn't think it was serious before. But I don't recommend giving consequences from the first time around. That could be just, a miscommunication, or they just simply didn't know. And a lot of times people see consequences as threats. And you need to make that very clear. Listen, this is not a threat. You're part of our team. We value you. We want you to win because when you win, we win. But I need to let you know what happens when anybody, you or anybody else, breaks a rule in our company. It wouldn't be fair if I didn't tell you. So make sure that second time around, if it happens again, that a consequence, what happens when somebody breaks rules in your company? What happens? What's the consequence? And you need to have that set in stone. Again, you can have a friendly tone and let them know that you value them as an employee, but this is how you run your company, and these are the values you hold. I got more on today's lesson, but before that, I got to give love to today's sponsor, Single Grain. Finding top talent for your company, for your business, is not always easy. I know this firsthand. Nicole and I just recently hired some new employees, and we discovered it's the number one problem all companies face, including big companies like Facebook, Google, and Apple. They don't struggle with sales and marketing. It's hiring that they struggle with. I mean, why does hiring have to be so hard? It seems like every company has struggled to get this right at some point. That's why Eric from Single Grain created the A-Player Hiring Blueprint after he lost close to $1 million on one bad hire. And today he's giving away a free resource he called the 403 Rock Solid Interview Questions to help you find top talent. To get this resource, just text 403-BOOK to 33444, and you'll get the resource emailed to you directly. It's 100% secure, and your data will be protected. Once again, that's 403-BOOK to 3344, and you'll get the epic resource. But grab it now because it's only available for a limited time. What happens if you keep reprimanding the same employee? You keep giving them warnings. You keep having that chat. There's going to come a time where you're going to have to make the decision to let that person go, to fire them. You have to remember, as an entrepreneur, that your main goal is to make sure that you, your company, the people inside it succeed. And if there's somebody there that's stopping that from happening because of something or another, it's your job as the leader to remove that problem, to remove the person that is stopping your success and the success of the people around you. There's people that are growing with you in the company. And it doesn't have to be this nasty situation. It could be simply, we're not a good fit. When we hire employees, we make sure we put in a 3 months probation period. In this 3 months, both our employee as well as us have the chance to kind of evaluate each other. And it's interesting because the people that we fired in the past in our business have been fired during that 3-month probation. It doesn't take long for you to realize that this person's not a good fit. I need to let them go. I need to find somebody else that can take the business or take this position to where it needs to be. And that takes courage. It's not easy to fire people. It's not a fun thing, and it never gets easier. But the point is, you need to do what's right for you, your business, and the people working in the business. As well as, don't forget, your customers, because the people that make up your business will directly impact your customers' experience. That wraps up today's lesson. We got a whole lot of awesome lessons coming up this week. We have Should You Own a Franchise coming up tomorrow, as well as 4 must-do strategies when defining your audience that's coming up after that. We also have coming up on Friday how to create a killer slide presentation, whether that's for a webinar or a public speech. But until then, I want to leave you with this. The best way to deal with any kind of conflict or any kind of situation with an employee or coworker or teammate or whatever it is to be transparent. It's just to be honest with them. Hey, listen, this is not working out for me. This is not cool with me. You don't have to pretend to be the big boss. You don't have to pretend to be the superior. You could say, I started this business because I wanted X, Y, Z. And the things that you're doing are not helping us get to there. So I need you to either to course correct, to change things around, and I can help you with that, or we're not a good fit and you're going to need to move on to another company. There's nothing wrong with being honest and being upfront. People will appreciate it. And they prefer it than somebody just kind of insinuating things, dropping hints, not being super transparent. All right, everybody, I hope that helps, and I hope to see you in tomorrow's episode. Until then, take care.